to the 9th Hayley-Roxanna Crafts quick cross stitch video, where I share information, hints and tips on one area of cross stitch in a short video. In this video, I'm focusing on how to do quarter stitches on Aida fabric. Quarter stitches, like other partial stitches, are used by designers to smooth edges and round corners. This is how I show them on my charts, but other designers may show them in a different way, so it is best to consult the instructions before you start stitching. There can also be some variation in how they are constructed. I will be demonstrating how I do them and how I intend them to be done in my designs. A quarter stitch is literally a quarter of a full cross stitch, or half of one of the two stitches that make up the full cross stitch. So if on the chart the quarter stitch is shown in the bottom left corner of the square, you would bring the needle up in the bottom left hole of the corresponding square on the Aida fabric and then take it down through the centre of the square. So like so. So up in the bottom left corner, as we are working in this square here, and then you take it down through the middle of the square. Sometimes you might just need to give your needle a little bit of a wiggle to get it through the centre of the fabric, to pierce the fabric. And if you're still having trouble piercing the fabric even after wiggling it, try a needle with a sharper tip. Okay, so just pull it through, and there's the quarter stitch in the bottom left corner of the square. If the quarter stitch is shown in the bottom right corner of the square on the chart, you would bring the needle up in the bottom right hole of the corresponding square on your fabric, and then you take the needle down through the centre of the same square. Like so. There's the quarter stitch in the bottom right corner of the square. If the quarter stitch is shown in the top left corner of the square on the chart, there are actually two options on how to stitch it. You could bring the needle up in the centre of the corresponding square on your fabric, like so, and then take it down into the top left corner to make the stitch. Or if you find it difficult to pierce the centre of the square from the back of your work, you could bring it up in the corresponding square through the top left corner and then take the needle down through the centre of the square instead. Like so. So the stitch ends up in the same place. It's just one way might be easier than the other. It's just down to your personal preference. If the quarter stitch is shown in the top right corner of the square on the chart, as with the quarter stitch in the top left corner, again, there are two ways that you could do this. So you could either come up in the centre of the square, in the corresponding square on your fabric, like so, and then go down into the top right corner of the square. Or if you're finding it difficult to pierce your fabric from the back, come up in the top right corner of the square and go down through the centre of the square instead. Like so, to give you your stitch in the top right corner. Like I said earlier, quarter stitches are quarter of a full cross stitch. So you could have up to 4 in the same square like this. The quarter stitches could all be in different colours, or some could be in the same colours and other in different colours. They could also be combined with 3/4 stitches, which is something I will demonstrate in my 3/4 stitch videos. If you have any questions about quarter stitches, please pop them in the comments. In next week's video, I will demonstrate the quarter stitches on even weave fabric.